Hi, I'm Stephen James, and I'm thrilled that you are tackling the torch enameling technique and taking it in a lot of different directions. Now I've got some tips and tricks I want to share just with you. A lot of people ask me what COE is, and COE stands for coefficient of expansion, and it is a number that is assigned to every enamel color. Now, the coefficient of expansion, it helps determine or helps tell the designer the temperature, also the rate of speed that the enamel starts to do what it's got to do, and what that is to melt and fuse and ultimately get into its final position, which is fully formed, beautiful glass. The COE is different for every color, and most enamel suppliers are selling you medium expansion enamels, and therefore their coefficient of expansion, or COE, is compatible with each other. The range of the enamels that I work with are 258 to 340, and I only use medium expansion enamels in all of my work, as well as in all of my classes. One of the examples that I give in class has to do with cookies and brownies. If you've ever made cookies, you know that they have a very specific temperature at which they bake. If you've ever made brownies, you know that they also bake at a very specific temperature. Now, let's decide we get a little lazy and we decide to take the cookies and the brownies and put the dough and the batter into one big bowl. We're going to make some new type of dessert. The cookie actually bakes at 350 degrees. The brownies bake at 450 degrees. There's a significant difference between the two desserts that we're talking about. So what do we decide to do? Do we bake the cookie at 350, knowing full well that our brownie needs 450 degrees of heat in order to set? Or do we bake the mixture at 450 degrees, knowing full well that that's 100 degrees more than what our cookies need to bake? The coefficient of expansion, the COE, in this scenario, well, 450 degrees with our brownies is going to burn our cookie dough. 350 degrees for our cookies, our brownies are never going to set up. So that's my example when I'm explaining COE to my students in class. You need to make sure that your COEs are compatible and that there isn't such a large range between them, or you won't have the proper firings taking place. I get asked all the time, can I enamel on a lot of different metals? And yeah, you can, but the most important thing to remember is that the enamels that you purchase actually match the metal that you're working with. In my classes, we often only enamel on copper because I'm working with medium expansion enamels for copper, as well as fine silver. I'm inevitably asked, well, what about sterling silver? And I would say this to someone that wants to enamel on sterling silver. It's probably a better idea to enamel on fine silver. When you heat sterling silver, the copper that is part of sterling silver comes to the surface. And so you will start to actually discolor your sterling silver. And I would think that that would actually compete with the beauty and the color of enamel. I strongly recommend anyone that's interested in enameling on silver to actually work with fine silver. The pairing of transparent enamels and fine silver are beautiful. So that would be my recommendation, and I think you'll be pleased with the results. Size is very important for a lot of people when they're enameling, and the size of your piece should match the size of your torch. In class, I inevitably have that one student that wants to make something just a little bit bigger. The max flame torch is most appropriate for pieces that are smaller than a quarter. If you want to tackle a much bigger project, well, you're going to need a bigger torch in order to do it. And these are two examples of torches that I like to use in my own studio and that I have used in classes as well. For the most part, the tank is sold separately from the torch head. And our propane tank is this one right here. And then we have a MAP gas right here as well. These are available at most hardware stores and they're perfect for at-home use. And they really allow you to tackle much larger pieces. You do use all of the same equipment, the trivet, the tripod, the kiln brick. You use all of those same things, including making sure that you are comfortable working with such a large torch. They can be pretty intimidating for the first-time user. So I encourage you to explore larger torches before tackling larger projects. There are so many different ways to actually clean your copper. My favorite way is actually with Penny Bright copper cleaner. Now the main ingredient is citric acid. Well, that's the main ingredient in this pickle as well. It's biodegradable and it's non-toxic. Now, I do love this pickle, but there's some caveats with this pickle. Even though it's non-toxic, even though it's made of a biodegradable material, you still have to monitor your pieces as the fire scale is being removed. I would not leave your project in a citric acid pickle pot and walk away. I would monitor it to make sure that your citric acid is not actually etching your glass, which is one of the concerns that a designer should have when working with pickle and enamels. The instructions are very easy to follow, and this is a product available at Beaducation.com. Hi, I hope you enjoyed my hot tips as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. If you have questions or comments, or even suggestions on videos you'd like to see, email us at classes@Beaducation.com.